Bataan. We shall begin the meeting shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin our meeting, please welcome the Treasurer of the Philippines, Roberto to give the opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me first be informal. I'd like to welcome all the delegate members here. As you know, this province, Bataan, is full of history, and as you have witnessed last night, it represents a lot of heroism of our countrymen. And today, here in this venue, you are in the replica of what they call Hotel Oriente, which was located in Binondo, Manila, one of the earliest settlements in the Philippines post the Spanish times. And it was there that this was even mentioned by our national hero, Jose Rizal, in his epic novel, Noli Me Tangere, which depicted the follies and the abuses of our colonial masters at that time. Given this, we are in effect in a historic place, and I hope that this event is auspicious for our APEC community to push on the objectives and the mission of APEC. So, dear APEC colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As the Philippines celebrates its 107th year of independence, we take you here to Bagac, Bataan, which features two important sites reflecting Philippine history. One is this complex serving as our meeting venue, which showcases the best of Filipino architecture and the craftsmanship at the turn of the 20th century. While the other is the Shrine of Valor, located not far from here, which is dedicated to all heroes that defended the Philippines during World War II. APEC's mission statement spells out the primary goal of the forum is to support sustainable economic growth in the Asia-Pacific region. Given this goal, the Department of Finance of the Philippines, as this year's host for the APEC Finance Ministers process, has sought to create a long-term role for the Finance Ministers process in terms of working towards the said goal. For this, we have crafted the Cebu Action Plan that has been and remains to be the central agenda for our APEC Finance Ministers process meeting. As many of us here already know, the Cebu Action Plan contains 4 pillars, namely promoting financial integration, advancing fiscal transparency and policy reform, enhancing financial resiliency, and accelerating infrastructure development and financing. These 4 pillars can serve as means of support for continued economic growth and prosperity in the region. Financial integration in the Asia-Pacific can drive greater trade across the region. Fiscal transparency and policy reform is a catalyst to good governance, which as shown by many economists, including the Philippines, to be a key ingredient to a successful economic growth story. Financial resiliency, on the other hand, is necessary to sustain periods of economic growth and development amid threats from global financial volatilities and natural disasters, while infrastructure development promotes linkages that can boost economies through increased activity and livelihood of its agents. It is therefore reasonable to claim that continuing our work on the Cebu Action Plan and ensuring it as a part of the Finance Minister's process agenda provides the Finance Minister's process with a role in relation to APEC's primary goal. At the same time, given the long-term view of the Cebu Action Plan, we can be assured that the Finance Minister's process can have a relevant and lasting role in the APEC forum and how APEC shapes the future of the economies of the Asia-Pacific region. Since we first proposed the Cebu Action Plan at the Special Senior Finance Officials meeting in Clark, Pampanga last January, we are pleased to point out, as we reconvene the SFOM today, that the CAP has undergone some progress. These include refinements and firming up of the Cebu Action Plan's pillars, identification of timeframes in achieving the plan's initiatives and deliverables, and recognizing the flexibility of the Cebu Action Plan for future Finance Ministers' process hosts to use as a framework in setting the Finance Minister's process agenda. At the same time, we have already identified some action items to follow up upon our Cebu Action Plan initiatives and deliverables. The concluding mission statement of the APEC reads as follows. Our initiatives turn policy goals into concrete results and agreements into tangible benefits. For our two-day meeting here in Bagac, we seek to carry on with this ideal by building on the above developments in the Cebu Action Plan. We especially enjoin APEC economies to move with us in our Cebu Action Plan initiatives and deliverables as we prepare our outputs to be presented at the APEC Finance Ministers meeting. We also encourage APEC economies to continue its support for the Cebu Action Plan as a roadmap guiding the Finance Minister's process in carving out a role in the efforts of the APEC to foster a prosperous Asia-Pacific region. Thank you and welcome to Bagac.
Thank you, Treasurer Tan. Dear colleagues, thank you all for coming to our APEX FOM 2015. To prepare us for our discussions for the meeting, may I invite you to please pay attention to the video summarizing the past meetings, namely the Special FOM in Clark and the Finance and Central Bank Deputies meeting in Tagaytay, as well as the seminars and workshops that have been organized in relation to our Cebu Action Plan agenda for the APEC 2015 Finance Ministers process. Our 2 days forum is divided into 8 sessions. The first session will tackle the global and regional economic and financial outlook, as well as